Hi everyone, it's Reggie. It's been, I'd say about 2 weeks now, 3 weeks, and a lot's been happening. My room's a bit of a mess right now. That's because I had to do some last minute repairs on the ceiling, so everything's kind of moved and changed at the second. But it's fine, everything's okay. I'm making this video. This is a bit of an interesting video. I think I have Asperger's syndrome. Now, I want to kind of give some disclaimers before we go into anything further. I'm not diagnosed. I have not seen a doctor about this once. And so that's why I'm clarifying, I think self-diagnosing is very dangerous, and I am not doing that here. I am simply trying to kind of give my perspective and try, from what I've seen and what I've kind of noticed, it makes sense, and I will get into that. And secondly, the purpose of this video isn't to be I don't want it to seem sympathetic or gain anything off of the fact I think I have Asperger's, but I wanted to make this a discussion as trying to be talk about it, because I think talking about it is very it'll make this process easier for me. Because imagine a good way to kind of put yourself in the mindset that I'm currently going with is try imagining you lived your entire life not being able to hear anything, and someone tells you you might be deaf. It kind of feels like pieces of your mental puzzle are kind of putting themselves together. I'm sorry if my examples aren't great, but these are just the ones I've been kind of using, especially mental puzzle. Because it kind of feels like my puzzle of my mind has been kind of piecing itself together finally, after 23 years of living. Because I've never been diagnosed with anything similar to autism. I've been diagnosed with ADD, anxiety, and depression. Now, a lot of the symptoms of ADHD and depression and anxiety can kind of collate or coexist with Asperger's or the autism spectrum. I believe it's now called. I think Asperger's has just been called the autism spectrum. I don't fully know. I'm just gonna call it Asperger's for the video because I'm just going off my knowledge here. And I have I have a few reasons for this, and what kind of I've kind of thought that I was for years now. I've had this thought for years, and I've never been for certain. Because it's always been I might, because of just behaviors, but it was never kind of cemented in my mind. It was always a kind of a what if kind of scenario, if that makes sense. Very much a what if I was autistic, or if I had autism. I think they refer to it as a person with autism as opposed to autistic, since autistic kind of has more negative connotations to it. So I will attempt to use person with autism just to be. I don't want to be ableist by any means trying to do any of this video. So I have a list. I'm going to pull it up. So I'm looking at the list. So how I kind of came to this conclusion is I ended up talking to someone about this because I've been thinking about it, and I've taken a few online quizzes, and I'm aware online mental health quizzes aren't exactly the most accurate or anything. They have no basis. I'm purely just going off of what they say. So I'm not exactly putting any weight into these tests. You know what I mean? I'm putting none of any of the mental health weight onto these quizzes. But they all kind of gave me the same. I kept getting the same number, or the same results. I mean, that's what happens, but it's always been around the sphere of while I don't fit fully into their definition of autism, I could still be on the spectrum. And I was they said it was potentially on the spectrum, essentially. So, and again, I don't have access to a doctor. I have no health insurance, and I can't afford a doctor, so I will not be seeing a doctor about this for a long time. So I will not know for a very long time the answer yes or no if I do. But I'm going to try to give... I want people to kind of talk to me about this more. I want people to kind of like... I want to have a conversation about this to kind of help out, you know? That's another reason for this video, is I just want a conversation. I want to open up, like, a discussion about this. And I'm not surprised or shocked if I have this, because of reasons I will get into. Along with the fact that I'm aware that, like, a lot of adults don't get diagnosed because of... It could be a multitude of reasons. Like, I know, especially in women, women have, like, diagnosed far worse than men do in terms of the autism spectrum, simply because they don't share the same characteristics as men do with autism. And so when you're trying, like, they don't have the same symptoms, so it's kind of hard to tell, especially since doctors kind of go from more the men's symptoms than women's. I'm going on a diatribe here. I apologize. I just thought it would be interesting. So I'm just establishing that it's not impossible. Like, it's not improbable. Or it could be. I don't know. I'm saying words. I know what I mean. I just don't know if I'm saying them right. So, but to kind of go down the list, I kind of wrote down to a friend. So I'm going off of that list. It's on Discord. And I don't think I actually finished it. I talked to a person with like Asperger's, and I kind of went through like a list of like what I thought could potentially equal being on the spectrum in some form. They had no knowing I was going to tell them about this, but they were like, I have Asperger's, and you basically described the childhood I grew up with. And that kind of like, that made me like ponder for a bit. Like, it was kind of eye-opening in a sense. Like, it really like opened my eyes to like, holy shit, I could. Like, it's possible. It's super fucking possible. I have a list here of the ones we kind of went through and like we kind of agreed upon. And the first one being, growing up, I was always more comfortable with animals than I was humans. And I'm still kind of like this to this day. I've improved upon this through like my self-therapy, I guess is a good way to describe this. But I still have this to where like I tend to, at least I did as a kid, I would gravitate more towards dogs, or, well, particularly dogs, sometimes cats, any pet that like wouldn't bite. I'd gravitate more towards them than other people, especially as a child. I distinctly remember many times going to strangers' houses or like distant relatives, and I would just hone in on their dog, and I would like talk to no one, or I'd have like awkward conversations, because I'm bad at communicating. I've always been bad at communicating. I've never had communication skills. I just don't know how to express myself, essentially. Like, I've never been good about expressing myself properly, trying to say what I think. So, whether or not, that equates Asperger's, I don't know. I know communication's a big thing with Asperger's, and I've always been bad talking to people, because I can read emotions to a point. Like, it's very, like, I can obviously read sad, mad, or happy, but I can never read intentions. So I never know if someone has a negative feeling towards me or a positive. I never know. So it kind of gives me a barrier with communications, and I can never tell. And I don't hate people. I like talking to people. I love talking to people. I wouldn't be a content creator if I didn't enjoy doing this, If I didn't enjoy it. I just have trouble doing it. So, and that's kind of why I'm doing YouTube and Twitch, is to kind of help better myself with, talking to people. That was my original goal. So I kind of see like a lot of things with that. So I wouldn't be shocked if it were to be real. I hyperfix on things. I definitely hyperfix on things. I've had the same interests for the past 23 years of living. It's been pretty consistent what I like in terms of like hobbies and like interests. I've always hyper-focused into drawing despite not being very good at it. I've been a fan of Pokemon for 20 years and it's never died down. I've never lost interest in Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or anything. I've always hyper-fixed on hobbies and interests. And even then, I hyper-fix on new hobbies all the time. So, like, I don't know if I'm describing this well, but I definitely know what the feeling is, and I know I have that feeling. And I'm going to clarify now, I know a lot of things listed in this could be easily equated with, like, having ADHD or having anxiety. But to kind of explain this the best way I can, I know the inherent difference between ADHD and not, if that makes sense. Like, I know the feelings that ADHD give me, and I know the feelings it does not give me. And a lot of these are not feelings I get from ADHD. A lot of them are not. So that's why I'm kind of like, I'm more convinced because of that, if that makes sense. Let's see. I need constant stimulation. Now, when I talk, that already gives me, like, I'm already stimulated talking, so I don't have a problem. But if I'm typically by myself, I typically have a YouTube video playing, or music, or a podcast. I need something. And I can't even play Minecraft without music, or I can't stream without music. If you guys notice, when I stream, I typically have music going, because I need that. Because I need that stimulation. I need constant stimulation, or else, like, I just can't, I kind of get stressed if I don't have stimulation. If that makes sense. I get stressed very easy, and that's another one too, is being just stressed very easy and getting frustrated over small things very frequently. And both those things I very much deal with. I deal with both of those things equally. If people have ever talked to me for long periods of time, they know I get frustrated super easy, or I get stressed out super easy. If you've talked to me for like a month, you are aware that happens. So it's, I do have some sensory issues. It's not, I have sensory issues. I do. I've never known if I would consider it like actually a problem or like on the realm of autism would have for sensory overload, but I do have that with certain sounds and feelings, and they do cause a bit of like just a stress overbuilding if I feel something in particular. It's very minute what causes it, but it does happen. So I don't know if this one's more of a less one because I just don't know if that makes sense. I just don't know. That's the problem with a lot of these. I don't know. That's also why I'm kind of opening this up for other people to kind of like, I want other perspectives here. And another one I constantly get is like repetitiveness, which this one's a bit of also of a less one, but is also still kind of there. But I definitely do have repetitiveness to where I need to constantly like repeat emotion, or like I repeat phrases a lot or sounds. If you've been in a Discord call, you've heard me make a lot of the same like noises or sounds or like anything. And I don't know if that would be like Asperger's or not, so that's why I'm also kind of shoving this in the I don't know section of a possibly, but I'm not going to use this one as concrete evidence. It's just kind of there. And those are the main ones I kind of came up with. There might be more, I don't know. But definitely these are enough to where I'm kind of just, I wouldn't be surprised. And then after this, I ended up getting a message from someone, my friend David, over on Facebook. Sorry to call you out here, but he had told me that I reminded him of his son with Asperger's. And that also kind of like makes me think. And if you guys have noticed, currently I'm swiveling in my chair. I do that because I need it. So, yeah. Again, a lot of this could be ADHD, but some of this just doesn't feel like ADHD. And that's what makes me think about this a lot. And the fact that I was never diagnosed, because it was always kind of just shoveled under being shy. And that's what I thought growing up, was that I was just shy. But then I never became not shy. And I know in communication, like when I have communication problems, whether it's anxiety and whether it's not. Sometimes what I think happens is the communications happen and like the errors will happen, and then anxiety will kind of take its course and kind of build up my anxiety. That's why I'm very awkward in conversation. So if I never reply to people properly, or if I never talk properly, it's perfectly why. That's why I will also say inappropriate things at weird times. I've also noticed I kind of do that, but I don't know if that. I don't know. That one's also I don't know, but that one's also a bit of a just a. How do I put this? See, like, this is very recent, that's why, like, it's all fresh in my head, and I felt I needed to make a video, because I needed to talk about this, because I want to talk about it and kind of put it out into the open, and, I don't know, I do have some bit of stress coming from the fact that I've been talking about this, because, there's a lot of negative, there's a lot of negative stigma kind of given to Asperger's and autism, and those negative stigmas kind of make it hard for a lot of people to fully, like, figure out that they have it. And that's why I'm very against ableist slurs, because people are going to be less likely to kind of accept the fact that they have the disability if they are, like, if it's treated as, like, a joke or, like, an insult, it kind of becomes, like, negative to become that thing. Like, you're looking down upon because of that thing. And I do worry about that a lot. It's just being looked down upon because of it. Because I know me. I know I'm intelligent. I'm smart. I am sophisticated to some degree. I may sound like a dumbass at times, but I know I'm smart. I know I can talk. But that's essentially all I kind of have. Sorry for rambling on for about 17 minutes. I hope you guys have a good day. What are your thoughts on this? That's genuinely why I'm making this. I want your thoughts and opinions and feelings, and that's genuinely what I want. And again, I hope you guys have a good day. I appreciate you guys, and I guess I'll see you next time. Goodbye.